Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe, and here is tonight's sports ticker. Last night, former Husker Delano Banton was selected in the second round of the NBA draft by the Toronto Raptors. Banton, who played last season for Fred Hoiberg's squad, recorded the school's second ever triple-double. He averaged 9.6 points per game while leading the Big Red in both rebounding and assists. He becomes just the seventh Husker to be selected in the first two rounds of the NBA draft. Former Husker baseball star Jake Meyers is being called up to the major leagues by the Houston Astros. Meyers, who was an all-conference selection for the Big Red in 2017, will join the big league squad tomorrow in San Francisco. Meyers has been at AAA Sugarland and hitting .343 with 16 home runs and 10 stolen bases. Turning to the Olympics, the U.S. women's soccer team survived against the Netherlands. The U.S. won on penalty kicks 4-2. That advances the U.S. into the semis, where they will play Canada. The U.S. women's basketball squad defeated Japan 86-69. The U.S. now 2-0 in Tokyo. Big upset in men's tennis as the number one seed Novak Djokovic lost to Germany's Alexander Zverev 1-6, 6-3, 6-1. And in Olympic baseball, the U.S. defeated Israel 8-1 in their opening game of the tournament. And the update on the medal count shows the United States with 41 total medals, one ahead of China. The Chinese, though, have the most golds with 19. Checking the Major League scoreboard for the first time since the start of the pandemic, the Toronto Blue Jays are playing a home game. Tonight, they begin a series with the Royals. The rest of the matchup, the Cubs will be in Washington to take on the Nationals. The Phillies and Pirates duel in Pittsburgh. Baltimore headed to Detroit to face up with the Tigers. The Reds at the Mets. Red Sox down in Florida to take on the Rays. The Yankees also in Florida. They'll be facing the Marlins. The Brewers in Atlanta to tango with the Braves. It'll be the Mariners in Texas to face the Rangers. The Indians in Chicago to duel with the White Sox. Twins and Cardinals will get together in St. Louis. Athletics and Angels in Anaheim. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks will play in Phoenix. The Astros and Giants in San Francisco. And the Rockies will be in San Diego to duel the Padres. Those are today's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stubrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome, our final show of the week here of Sports On. I hope you had a good week. A hot one, right? Still pretty steamy out there today. It was a hot one this morning for the Huskers to get their first football practice in the books. There was no media availability after the practice, but I bet there was a little sweating going on earlier this morning.
Absolutely, yeah. But Dave Ellis was having to track those sweaters, the 5-pound, 10-pound, 15-pound sweaters, as we heard yesterday. Jeremiah talking about he was a 10 to 13-pound sweater. But, they'll be all over that, having to really track that while the heat is here. But isn't there relief coming? Maybe going to cool off a little bit? Yeah.
About 10 degrees cooler tonight. I'm sure the team will appreciate that. They will practice tomorrow and Sunday. Our first chance to hear from some of the Huskers will be after the Monday workout. So that'll be 4 workouts in. There'll be a lot to talk about, I would think.
No doubt, and especially with those positions like running back. You heard Jeremiah talking about it last night. Just nobody wants to be the first guy for the first turnover, the first fumble. But yeah, you got to think that, from day one, there's going to be somebody that maybe performs the best on day one. Maybe somebody performs the best on day 2. By day 4, you got to think that, maybe a couple of guys have made some statements.
I believe day 4 will be the first day in full pads. You have to go 3 days without full pads. So Monday might be a padded day, and that changes the dynamics of the camp. We won't hear from Scott Frost on Monday. We'll hear from some of the coaches, but we will have a full recap for you on Monday Night Show about what the first 4 days have looked like for the Huskers. Here's what we have on the program tonight. We're going to continue our position breakdowns to look at the outside linebackers. Outside linebackers coach Mike Dawson going to join us, hear about his group, and one of the key cogs in that group is Jojo Domann, and Jessica had a chance to catch up with him yesterday. We'll let you hear that conversation later in the hour as well. And then in the 7 o'clock hour, Matt Abdelmassih, Husker assistant coach, basketball coach, will be with us to talk about Delano Banton. I'll be honest with you, Jessica, a little surprised, but happy that Delano was selected last night. Only 60 guys get picked. He didn't have great college credentials, but the NBA looks for some different things sometimes.
How cool is that story? The hometown kid, the first Canadian to be drafted by Toronto. And I think I was trying to do some research on maybe what the Toronto staff kind of saw in him. And the big thing they were looking for in this draft was length and athleticism, which he obviously has. But just an awesome story. Drake gave him a shout out. Welcome home.
How about that?
That's awesome.
That is really cool. Delano is such an interesting player because he's 6'9", but he's kind of a point guard. So he'll have to improve his shooting. It wasn't great at Nebraska. I think he shot 32% from three-point range. He'll have to be better at that. I think he would be a bit of a project for Toronto. In the NBA, the way it works, if you're a first-round pick, you do have a guaranteed contract. You don't have that with a second-round pick, but they obviously chose you for a reason, and I would think that they would certainly want to develop Delano Banton and get that. But we'll get Matt Abdelmassih's take on all this. What a great story for Fred Hoiberg and the staff to be able to take out on the recruiting trail, isn't it? 1,000%.
And you saw Coach Hoiberg put a tweet out about how Delano was one of the first guys that they recruited and really bought into this program and the staff and the direction that it was heading. And you know, we talked about it last night about how big it would be for the football team if Cam Taylor-Britt got drafted, and having a defensive back that got drafted. That pays dividends in recruiting. So for, Delano to get drafted, and you got Isaiah Roby in the NBA, which hopefully we'll be talking to him tomorrow and bring that for you next week. But to have, the more guys that you have in the NBA, and we've heard how the recruits have talked about, the system that Coach Hoiberg and his staff have here, it prepares you for that next level. The style of play translates to the NBA. And so the more guys you get playing in the NBA, the more the proof is in the pudding. And, hey, you want to come play for a system like that.
No doubt. Banton will begin in the Summer League. He's headed to Vegas. That's that NBA Summer League that gets going the 8th through the 17th of August. So he doesn't get a lot of time. We were trying to get him today, but he was traveling from Chicago to Toronto. I'm sure the Raptors probably were going to have a big media session with their draft picks. They had 3 picks in last night's draft. He was one of 3 that they selected. So I'm sure he was really, really busy. We'll continue to try to reach out and get Delano to put him on the program. But cool thing, I was kind of watching the draft, flipping back and forth between that and the Olympics last night, and was just so happy to see his name pop up on the screen. I think he was getting some indications that he was going to get picked.
Yeah, that's what we had heard, that maybe he had heard that
a promise
that was going to happen. Yeah, but I think in the way his story, and I think Seamus did a really awesome article that's up on Huskers.com, and they retweeted it. But just, his story about wearing 45, and that was the bus route that he took, and he's doing it not just for him, but for the kids that came from that community. The first Canadian ever to get drafted by the Raptors. That's just so huge. What a great story, and just awesome for him, a dream come true. It's one thing, everybody dreams of hearing your name called in the draft, whatever sport that might be, but to get drafted by your hometown team, that's on a whole nother level.
Fantastic. It's a great story, and I'm sure it's a really good feel-good story around the Raptors organization. So we wish him nothing but the best. And this was, I had a conversation, and it might have been with Fred Hoiberg back in May, and this is when Delano was debating whether to stay in the draft or come out, and Fred said, we win either way. He said, if he comes back, great, we have him for another year. If he stays in and gets drafted, it goes back to what we were just saying. It's a great story for us to go tell recruits. We got this guy into the league, and because of our system, it showcased his abilities and talents. And as a perfect way to look at it, a lot of coaches would, hem-haw around like, oh, I really don't want him to go because I want him back selfishly, or they're all in about him going. But Fred saw the good and the bad of both sides of that.
And you've seen Delano in interviews talking about how his time here helped prepare him for this as well. So already getting a recruiting pitch right there. And I think Nebraska's going to end up okay with Alonzo Verge kind of getting that transfer come in, because I think he's going to be pretty special running the one, which they had to go after him when Delano decided to stay in the draft.
The chill guy that you sat down with the other day, right?
Chill.
Yeah,
He's very chill, but energy on the court, Energizer Bunny on the court, just very chill and laid back off the court.
Isn't that funny how personalities can be that different from what they are kind of away from their playing surface and what they are on it?
I feel like that's kind of what makes the best offensive lineman, right? Which Jeremiah is a perfect example of that. The meanest, the nastiest people on the field and the nicest off of it. If you have that switch, that flip, a lot of times that makes you the best offensive lineman for sure. But yeah, that's when Alonzo was talking about, his mom would only allow him to curse on the basketball court. So he just kind of brings it all out there. But I think you heard a lot of those guys talking about they want to win. And I think just the mindset, the culture shift is happening over there at that program currently as we speak.
Oklahoma and Texas made it official today. They got approval by both of their border regions to make the move to the SEC. The SEC then quickly put out a statement welcoming them to the conference. The start date's still up in the air. Both Oklahoma and Texas were careful to say they will play out their days in the Big 12, which is 4 more years. I don't think anybody believes that's going to happen, but we'll see if it's 1 more, 2 more years in the league. But the spinoff after that happened this morning was some attempts being made, Jessica, by people around the country to kind of slow down the expansion of the college football playoff. Remember, all the momentum a month ago was 12 teams. We're going to 12 teams, and we were all kind of going, really? Is that the right number? That's a big jump from 4 to 12. Wouldn't 8 be the better place to land? One of the guys that made some comments today was Ohio State's athletic director, Gene Smith, going, hey, with all this that's been shaken out with Oklahoma and Texas, maybe we need to back off and kind of view this a little bit. You think that's a wise move?
Absolutely. It's like they were listening to our show. We were talking about, those conferences coming together and saying, hey, whoa, we got to figure something out here. This is not going to be okay. Just with ESPN kind of taking over everything, they're in charge of the college football playoff. Basically, all the money's going there too. So you got to figure out a way to make this more even. And if there's 5 teams, or is there 4 teams? Is there going to be the Power 5? Is the Big 12 still going to be amongst the Power 5? I mean, how's that going to work? So yeah, with the contract coming up in 2023, you take a step back. Let's figure this out. Let's again not rush to any of these decisions with this move to the SEC. And of course, Oklahoma and Texas voting to make the move official today. So you heard the Oklahoma president talking about just the rights fees with those negotiations coming back up for those contracts with televisions. Money, TV absolutely played into it, as we said from the start.
Sure did. And good for Gene Smith. Good for Gene Smith to speak up. Obviously, Ohio State's got a big voice in college football. Kind of wish that would maybe come from the conference office, but good for Gene Smith for going, oh, okay, now wait a minute, hang on here. Because I think what everybody's starting to see around the country is, wait a minute, the SEC's trying to completely get a stranglehold on this whole thing. And as the Big Ten and the ACC and the Pac-12 need to go, hold on, we're not just going to let you guys call all the shots. We need to slow this train down a little bit. So I, for one, was glad to see that happen.
Yeah, me too. Is there something that the FCC can do to step in to try to, avoid this monopoly that's happening?
I don't know. Because, would they really want to tamper with something like that? But it sure does seem, because think, ESPN's got all the rights to all those playoff games. They own that whole thing. And yes, they pay for it, but yeah, this is the only way to do it, I think, is the rest of the country to go, time out. Let's slow this baby down. If
ESPN has the rights to the playoff, then the 4-team playoff, then it should go back into negotiations or up for bidding if it goes to 12 teams, so that other networks, entities could get in on the playoff, because they don't need to own all the rights to all 12 or all 6 of those games.
Very good. All right, that's what we have on the program tonight. If you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you be a part of it with a text or a phone call. Our number, 402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. If you have any thoughts about our topics of the night, we'd love to hear those. When we come back, we'll hear from Mike Dawson, Husker outside linebackers coach. We'll break into that position next.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up in back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Buick GMC and find your next vehicle. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle. Plus, get you on the road faster with our streamlined sales and buying process that you can start online. New Buick and GMC models with the features you want at a smart price. Visit our indoor showroom or shop online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Experience the difference and shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's Best Value Colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Back to adventures in technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
We're back here on Sports Nightly as we continue our position breakdowns with a look at the outside linebackers and joined by Husker outside linebackers coach Mike Dawson. It's a group that made some strides a year ago, and maybe you always add guys. You were able to keep a guy in Jojo Domann. How big was that to get him to come back for another year to play for the Huskers?
Yeah, it was great to have Jojo back. He's a guy that's very versatile. We do a lot of different things with him, and he's able to make a lot of plays for us, and he's really growing his knowledge and ability to kind of do those different jobs by getting more in depth with each one of them. So obviously we're expecting a really big year from JoJo.
Another guy that's played an awful lot of football here is Caleb Tanner, but you always kind of feel like there's more in Caleb. What are your expectations for him?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think you kind of see the sky kind of being the limit for a guy like Caleb, who's got good size. He's athletic. He can do some different things for you. But we're really expecting him this year to kind of turn the corner strength-wise and keep adding to that piece of it, which is going to translate on the field to being able to kind of go from being a speed finesse guy to maybe a little bit more power and be able to do some different pass rush moves that way.
We hear coaches all the time say, we love guys with big motors. Garrett Nelson maybe has the biggest motor. What else does he need to do to be a better football player?
Yeah, with Garrett is the type of guy, just what you said. He's got that unlimited effort, and he's running around, and that piece of it's awesome. For him to kind of take the next step, I thought he did a better job towards the end of last year, really understanding the game of football, rather than just going out and kind of being almost that bull in a china shop type of mentality. Now, play with that same effort, be really detailed in your assignment and your execution, and now you're going to turn from being a guy that tries hard to a guy that's a really good football player.
One guy that is maybe fans don't know as much about is Damian Jackson, but I'm sure he's pretty important in your room.
He's important for a lot of different reasons. He's a guy that's had, we all know, more worldly experience than most of us probably, but he's a guy that's going to work and show these guys what it means to really train hard and be able to be ready to go when it's your turn. So he's also a guy that he does a great job. Once in a while I kind of bark at him and then remember that he probably could kill me, so I have to be careful. But he takes it great, and I think the other guys can respect and appreciate that. He just wants to get coached just like everybody else does, and he would be upset if I didn't go after him that way, or push him to be as good as he can be, which is really awesome from an older guy.
I've been anxious to ask you about Phildarius Payne. I really like his game. Where can he go? What's left for Phildarius to help this team out?
Yeah, Phildarius is a guy that we were initially going to play inside, and he has such a quick twitch and he's got a great burst, great get off, and he's really slippery coming off the edge. So for him, he was kind of learning a little bit different position as we were going through the season last year, and now that he's kind of been in the room and kind of understands that role and how to play a little bit more on the edge, do some things standing up, that was new for him, getting in a two-point stance, doing a little bit of coverage stuff. He hadn't done that before, so I think those reps that he's banked in those areas are going to help him out later on down the road, hopefully this year.
Has he reshaped his body some since getting here?
Yeah, he's done a better job skipping the ice cream part of training table. So yeah, he's worked hard at that. Something he's really been conscientious of, not only, I think, slimming up, but getting stronger while he did it. He had a couple injuries coming in, so for him to be able to be full-time in the weight room and be able to do all the different body parts and all that kind of stuff has been pretty good for him. So he's getting, while he's getting a little bit leaner, he's still gaining muscle mass, which is great. Yeah.
I want to ask you about two guys that have been in the program for a while now. It may be starting to become their turn, and that's Blaze Gunnerson and Jamari Butler. How about those two young players in this program, and where are they right now?
Yeah, young guys that probably coming into the spring, they were mostly concerned that they would stand in the right place or get lined up pre-snap, and then by the end of the spring, you could see them really starting to kind of turn it on a little bit. Not you have that paralysis by analysis sometimes when you're standing there going, okay, I better not screw this up or he's going to be hollering at me. So they were kind of got over that hump and were able to start playing fast, and all of a sudden they're making plays on the backfield, which was great to see by both those guys.
I want to ask you about a legacy player in the program. That's Javen Wright, and I don't know how much you get your hands on him. It seems like he kind of pinballs back and forth between you and Coach Fisher, but that's a guy that may have some skills that you can utilize.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head with him. He's a guy that he can be valuable in the outside backer world or in the safety world. So he is that long athlete that you're looking for, where he's that position that he can kind of come down from the safety spot and be able to rush the quarterback off the edge with great speed and great length. So guy that we're trying to give more jobs to, because we think he's got some really bright future. Maybe gonna fill a role that Jojo plays a little bit, where he's a guy that sometimes he's down and he's playing that 6 technique or playing a 5 technique coming off the edge, and then maybe the next snap he's walked down an open number 2 playing some man-to-man and things like that. So the versatility that he has is gonna really be beneficial for us.
I want to ask you about some walk-ons in your room. We'll start with Simon Odie, a guy that may even get on the field with you defensively, but certainly will be a big part of teams.
Yeah, Simon's great. He's a guy that's his football IQ is off the charts. He knows and understands not only his job, but what the other jobs of the people that are around him are, which is great. And then another guy that's high effort. You talked about Garrett's motor, and Simon's built the same way as far as that stuff goes. And a guy that you can, hey, maybe you didn't get a ton of reps in practice, but we need you to go out there and get in the game, and he'll know exactly where to go, exactly what to do, and he'll give you the maximum effort while he's doing it.
One guy, coach, that I called his name a lot in the spring game was John Bullock, walk-on from up at Creighton Prep. Can he be a guy that can help out this football team?
John's got a lot of great tools. He's a guy that's a fitness fanatic, works out a lot. He's very quick twitch. He's got good speed, good change of direction. He's a guy that's still kind of learning the assignments a little bit, and that's the part that we're pushing him on. But he's working really hard, and it was great to see him out there making plays in the spring game. And sometimes, guys just have a nose for the ball. I think we've all seen that, and John's one of those type of guys.
Now, I'm going to ask you about Wyndon, because I know you haven't had him on a practice field yet. That will come, the young man from Hawaii, but looks like he's got a pretty good skill set.
Yeah, we're excited to finally get him here and get him on campus and get the chance to start working with him. I think he's a guy that, once again, he probably is a 4-position guy that could play, either of the outside or either of the inside spots for you. But he's got a great frame, and be able to go ahead and get him with Zach this summer, and then see what he can do when we're out there in the fall.
You got to be anxious to get these practices underway, because it looks like you got some pretty stiff competition for some of these spots, and even for backup playing time.
Yeah, I think that that competition can sometimes breed some success in other guys and push some guys. So I'm really excited about that part of it. It's going to be fun to get back out there.
Just keep them healthy.
Well, we're going to do that. We're going to get them playing hard, and we're going to get them being physical, and everything else will take care of itself.
There he is, Mike Dawson, Husker outside linebackers. Coach, you can't pick at a guy that likes ice cream. Come on, everybody likes ice cream, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it last night. We're trying to get the podcast sponsored by an ice cream company, but I thought that was hilarious. But I've heard Fildarius Payne's name mentioned a lot going into this season. Seems like he is poised to potentially have a breakout season.
I think he could be a guy that could be a surprise as we go along. And as we started, and we're going to hear from Jojo here in a minute, getting a sixth-year guy to come back is pretty big. It's a player who's proven himself at this level that he is a big-time player. It's a pretty good place to start.
And we were talking last night about just the need to have an elite pass rusher, a guy that's going to disrupt the passer. Is that feel like they've got some potential guys that can do that?
Absolutely. Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. So there's Mike Dawson, outside linebackers coach. When we come back, Jessica had a chance yesterday to sit down with Jojo Domann, the senior statesman of that room. We'll get into that conversation next.
Experience the highest levels of luxury at Woodhouse Lincoln, the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer. Our dedicated sales team is ready to guide you to your perfect vehicle. With a lineup of unique crossovers and SUVs, Lincoln offers insightful technologies, connectivity, and interior amenities, while you experience the highest sales satisfaction among all luxury brands. Visit Woodhouse Lincoln at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com.
Nebraska Athletics are hiring event staff for the 2021 home football season. Our #1 requirement, be passionate about Husker football and ready to provide the ultimate fan experience for the greatest fans in college football. As part of the event staff, you serve Husker Nation and check out live game action inside Memorial Stadium. Apply right now and help kick off the Husker football season by working the Garth Brooks concert. For more information and to apply, visit huskers.com/event staff. Go Big Red. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Sports Network. Taking some time this hour to talk about the Huskers outside linebacker position. Just heard from Mike Dawson, the outside linebackers coach. Spoiler alert, we're going to hear from him in a week or so as we break down special teams, as he's taken over that role for this team as well. But as you heard him say, thrilled to get Jojo Domann to come back for another year. I think when the season ended, Jessica, in December, the thought was Jojo would not return. So I think it was just like an added bonus that he decided to come back.
And there was just this feeling of with Jojo yesterday at the press conference that he was very thoughtful and mindful with all of his answers. And again, my first time interviewing or interacting with him, but listening to his answers to the media. And then when I got a chance to sit down with him, how much it means to him, playing here. And I think he just wanted to give it one more shot to, like he said yesterday, leave this place better than he found it. And, when I sat down with him, just started last fall camp for sure for him, how he feels going into it.
Yeah, it feels good. I feel prepared. I feel ready for it. This is what I came back for. So this is kind of just the calm before the storm. It all starts tomorrow. But really it's started since January 1st, so really just trusting the process, really excited for this next step, next phase of my football journey.
Last year was a little bit crazy, but now that you've been here, been around, how do you feel about this team specifically going into day one of fall camp?
Yeah, I'm excited. We have a lot of potential. We have a lot of guys that need to prove themselves. Even our super seniors, we need to prove ourselves. So I'm really just kind of leading with that energy of we can get better, we want to get better, and we will get better, and then allowing the results to take care of themselves.
You said it's been since January. Overall, how would you kind of, evaluate how this team is kind of attacked from spring ball, then summer, and kind of preparing for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we're doing the right things. I think a lot of young guys got a lot of reps in spring ball, and a lot of old guys got rest, and this summer we all attacked summer conditioning like some crazy people. So really just try to incorporate everybody, young guys, new guys, old guys, and freshmen and walk-ons to all kind of be on the same mission, same path, same wavelength going into this fall, so that we can be dangerous.
What is that mission?
That mission is showing up every day to get better, to be better than we were yesterday, excelling at what's being asked of us, and then some. Not only applying ourselves in our 2-hour practices, but then applying ourselves in every meeting, in every downtime, for every meal, just being excellent across the board in every aspect of our life.
And if you guys do that, how good do you think this defense could be?
Yeah, this team's going to be amazing and is going to surprise a lot of people, including ourselves, when we do that. So it's really it's not an if, it's a when. And we just have to trust the process and excel in the process and allow the result to take care of itself.
Do you feel like this team believes that you guys can achieve some of those things you're talking about?
I do, and we're going to continue to raise the bar of our belief, because we're going to continue to do the little things right. We're going to continue to show up and get together on our off time. When we're not even expected to be together, we're going to be together. And just that energy is contagious, and it's just gonna rise our belief level, and high tide rises all boats. So I'm really just excited to get this thing going.
You talked about, being a leader and wanting to earn that, but you're not the only one, and Adrian Martinez talked about it's a leadership group. How much does that benefit a team when it's not just 2 and 3 leaders? You got 7, 8, 9, 10 leaders that have played a lot and have kind of stepped up into that role as well.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you don't just look to one guy for the answer. I mean, we get to collectively create the answer. So that's powerful. And it incorporates a lot of people, so we're getting a lot of different perspectives. So we're really here to lead the masses, not just to lead a few and lead it my way or his way. It's our way. And that's powerful.
It's cohesive, right? It seems like you guys, as a leadership group, is all on the same page. It's not just about what the linebackers are doing or the quarterbacks. It's you guys seem to have a cohesive message going into this.
That's right, and that comes from this summer, just getting together and defining what that is for us, what we see we can do better, where we see we need to improve, and what we like and what we're going to continue to do. It just took time together and a clear intention, and here we are.
You personally, beyond just being a leader for this team, this defense, what do you want to accomplish out on the field this season in your 6th year?
Yeah, I really just want to win. I really want to win. It doesn't matter how many games we win or how many interceptions I have or tackles I have. I just want to reflect back on this season of I poured into this team everything I had. And if that results in 3 wins, then so be it. If it results in 8 in a bowl game, then so be it. I trust that the little things add up to big things, and that's what I'm going to focus on and allow the big things to take care of itself.
Seems like these guys that made the decision to come back, it's a lot of similar messages where they know for sure that this is it, and they do not want to have any regrets when this season is all said and done.
I just really love the demeanor of everybody that was around the media event yesterday, including Jojo. Just, I'm here to work. It's serious time. Let's go. There wasn't a lot of joking around. Last year was so goofy. Only played 8 games. Had a game lost because of Wisconsin couldn't field a team with COVID issues. No fans in the stands. I'm excited and happy for players like Jojo, Jessica, because they're going to get a real send-off this year. Last year was just blah.
Yeah, they did the right thing by letting those kids have another year, because it's not fair for them to have to go out like that. And thank goodness some of those guys, because the year before when a lot of their seasons got cut short, some of those basketball and gymnastics and winter sports athletes didn't get to compete in the postseason. I'm so glad that they gave. I know it kind of caused some nightmares scholarship-wise, but for the kids and for these student athletes, for them to get to go out the right way in front of fans, to have a legit off season, to have a fall camp and not have to, are we playing, are we not playing, and with fans in the stands and getting to play in front of that crowd. it's the right thing to do. And so for them to know that it's going to be a real season and they're going to get to go out that way, I'm happy that they all they're going to get that chance. But yeah, they're saying the right things, and we've heard that a lot. You know, we're saying the right things, but it's one thing to talk about it. You got to go prove it on the field. So we'll know if all that talk is going to come to fruition soon enough. But right now they're saying everything you want to hear them say.
They are, and I agree that it was the right thing for the NCAA to do to allow the extra year. Let me put myself, though, let me put myself into the shoes of a senior in high school or the parent of a senior in high school going, well, there aren't many scholarships available out there for me right now because there's a backlog in this whole thing. That's the other side of this coin, and Nebraska's talking about maybe only being able to sign 14 or 15 guys in this class because the seniors now have a chance to come back for one more year. It's such a tough thing. I don't know what the right call was. I think they made the right call. But if I'm on the other side of this thing, I'm like, man, my kid's not going to get affected by this.
Yeah, and I know it's been a pain to figure out scholarships and players and rosters for the coaches. And recruiting, it's been a really big nightmare with no clear, okay, how are we supposed to do this? Because we're not getting any extra scholarships. Maybe the right decision would have been to let's just give the seniors for sure.
That's a good point.
The last year seniors, give them one more shot, and then maybe the other ones don't get the extra year of eligibility. I don't know. I think if they were trying to figure out how to do the right thing and maybe did it quickly, maybe they could have revisited that. Maybe they could figure out a way to, okay, you can have a few more extra scholarships. I don't know. I don't know what the right decision was to figure out the numbers, but I do absolutely think giving the seniors another shot at it from last year was absolutely the right decision.
I totally agree with you. And this leads me into Adrian. And we've had people that have asked, Adrian has the ability to play 2 more years here, this year and next year, because he is operating under the rule that he can get that season back. And he was asked yesterday, Adrian got asked at the press conference have you decided? He says, I have not decided what I want to do. I'm totally focused on this fall, this season. And that's exactly the right answer. But the coaches are sitting there going, well, we won't know until December when we start having conversations. What do you think? You want one more or are you done? And so my guess is it will land somewhere in the middle. I don't know what the number is. I think there might be 18 of them, maybe 9 come back, maybe 8 come back. Somewhere in that range would be what it is. But it puts people in a bind. How many are you going to have to be able to give out?
And what's crazy is that the effects of this is going to continue for 3 more years, 4 more years, because you have freshmen right now that are basically freshmen again, sophomores that are juniors and whatever that it might be. But
how do you classify
guys that
them?
were last year that were sophomores are still sophomores and freshmen. And so, it's going to continue to be a trickle-down effect for several years and for all sports. And really those sports that don't have 80 scholarships, that's where it's really going to affect them moving forward.
Right. Baseball for Will Bolt. He basically got a clean slate. Fred Hoiberg, in a lot of ways, got kind of a clean slate with his guys. But football, you're dealing with a lot bigger pool of numbers, and so it's just going to be a juggling act for several years now as you go down the path of this thing. And I just hope it doesn't really diminish a lot of opportunities for young kids coming out of high school. That's a big worry. And I know the coaches are worried about it too.
Yeah, and then you got the transfer portal, and you add all that into that kind of, if you're trying to get an older kid into your program, and then that takes away also opportunities from these high school kids as well.
Yeah. All right, if you have some thoughts about any of that, 402-413-2400. That's the number to call or fire off a text. We're back with more of Sports Nightly here on a Friday next.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you. Time for you to be a part of this hour of the program at 402-413-2400. Call or text. A lot of topics out there for you to dive into. Husker football. We broke into the outside linebacker room here tonight to talk about that group. If you want to talk about Delano Banton getting drafted last night in the second round, we certainly can do that. Or if you want to talk about Jake Myers getting called up to the big leagues. What a great thing. Jake Myers, one of my favorite Husker baseball players. Love that guy. So glad for him and happy for him. Can't wait for him to walk into a big league ballpark and be a part of a big league team tomorrow when he's out in San Francisco. If you want to dive into that, certainly can touch on that. Let's get into some Olympic talk a little bit here tonight. What a match, and they're replaying it right now on, I think that's NBC Sports Channel. The women's soccer team went to penalty kicks. They defeated the Netherlands, the team that they did beat in the finals of the World Cup in 2019. It was a tremendous match. And the USA, after that loss to Sweden on day one, has now put themselves into the semifinals. You kind of called that about a week ago.
I said they'd figure it out. They'd figure out a way to get it done. I mean, it might not be pretty, but as long as you're advancing. So, they've been here. They've done it, and they've been in these types of situations, and they've won gold medals before. A lot of these players have won gold medals
Multiple gold medals.
So they know how to, continue to advance. And you got to think the target, I mean, obviously the target's on their back. So, they'll figure it out and continue to advance. I thought, we talked a little bit about the volleyball team yesterday, the USA Volleyball. They had jumped out to a 2-0 set lead over Turkey and then had to battle back and win in a fifth set tiebreak. And a lot of the talk was that it was good for them to figure out a way to win and get that done. So potentially the first gold medal on the way.
I think they play again tomorrow in pool play. I think that's when their next match is. USA women's basketball team beat Japan late last night. I don't know if anybody stayed up for it. I think it started around midnight our time last night. They are 2-0. The men play again tomorrow morning, early if you want to pop up in the morning. I think 7 a.m. our time is when the men back on the court. They bounced back nicely after losing to France in the opening game. They just drilled Iran, beat them by about 40 points. So they're on their way. And track and field is underway. And you saw a new kind of competition for track and field this year.
I had no idea. So I just had the channel on from watching it the night before. And there was a news break that they were talking about how the 4x400 mixed relay was reinstated after they thought it was a illegal handoff, but then they ended up protesting it and got reinstated. So I was looking up, I was like, what's a 4x400 mixed relay? So it's men and women. So it's a handoff between men and women. And
so two and two.
2 women, 2 men, and 4x400. So it's coming on soon. I had it pulled up. I think the continuing the qualifying rounds are about to show on the NBC Sports app. So I'm going to watch it and see. But I had no idea. It's the Olympic debut of the 4x400 mixed relay.
They've mixed in some different sports. Obviously, the ball bat sports were back this year. The Japan picked up softball, baseball. Certainly glad they did that. The 3-on-3 was a huge hit. You and I both thoroughly enjoyed the 3-on-3 basketball that they did. And little wrinkles like that. They had a couple of extra events in swimming for the first time ever. The women were able to do a 1,500 meter, which is, holy cow, is that a long race? You got to have the stamina for that. So they've added a few wrinkles to these Olympic Games, and I've liked them all.
So I was reading up about the 3-on-3 and why they put that in, and it was that they're constantly trying to figure out how to draw in a younger audience, and the
skateboarding.
The game is quick and happens really quick, so the attention, how people don't want to watch a long game, and it's exciting, and so drawing in a younger audience was kind of the goal there. I would be interested to see what the ratings are. Hopefully it sticks around, but just adding a few new events here or there. And, I was reading about, we talked about it on the air the other night, about all the things that go into it, about, the popularity of the sport in the host country, and, it's kind of history and tradition and all of that. And there's a long, lengthy list of requirements that goes into how they bring in new sports. But I hope 3-on-3 basketball is here to stay.
I would think it would. I really would. France will get the ability to pick a few sports because they host the games in 24. The United States hosted in 28. I can't imagine the United States not one to have that part of the games.
It seemed to be like that it was really well received on social media, and if it's popular, you got to think it'll come back. And being that it's quick, and how easily it is to broadcast it was another thing. So it doesn't require a lot of, it's just half court, so it doesn't require a lot of technical issues to try to broadcast it either. So
I know there were no fans there, but the little venue that they built for it was really neat looking.
Yeah, you would think that if there were fans, that'd be pretty rocking atmosphere. And they had it, the men and the women going at the same time, and so they were able to roll off a lot of games at the same time.
What, 10 minutes long?
Yeah, I mean,
they're not, or are they longer than that? No, they're 10-minute games.
And it's like you have to win by 2 or something, and so it's like if it goes into extra, it's only like 21 or
if you get to 21 and you're up by 2, it's over.
Yes, yeah.
But a lot of times they wouldn't get to that, but the time would run out.
Yeah, so it was a great addition, and I didn't know about it because when I was at Oklahoma, they had a college team that had kind of gone through the preliminary kind of qualifications, but ultimately Team USA picks the teams, and you still have to go through the qualifying, and that's why USA men did not have a 3-on-3 team that qualified. But I didn't know how well it would go over and how it would translate to watching it on television, but it was fantastic. I was pleasantly surprised. It's been my favorite so far of the Olympics.
It was really fun. The venue was outdoors. They had kind of a tarp over the top in case it started to sprinkle, but it was an outside venue, which it's been so hot in Tokyo that it was really, that tested the stamina of those athletes to do that.
And then the fact that Kay Shea got to go and play, and Coach Hoiberg talked about that, how big that was for him to get to represent his country, but also, again, another hey, we got a guy in the Olympics right now. Yeah. So it was awesome for him to get to represent Nebraska and his home country.
I want your take on this topic. Sarah Pavin, former Husker, is playing for Team Canada in beach volleyball, and the attire for the women in some of these sports has come up as a big topic. And do the women in beach volleyball really need to be wearing bikinis? Do they have to do that? And some teams have worn full body suits, that type of thing. Your thoughts about that? I mean, how about that?
I think you should be able to wear what you want and what you're comfortable in. You saw some gymnastics, I can't remember the country, had on, the full leotard that went all the way down to the ankles. Whatever you're most comfortable in. There was another country that had, they wore tights, shorts, and not the full bikini, and they got, I think, fined for it, or were told that they had to.
And somebody's offering to pay the fine, I believe.
And it's ridiculous. Whatever you want to wear that you feel comfortable in, do it. That's what I believe.
Drawing a blank on who's willing to pay the fine for me. It was some celebrity said, I'm going to pay the fine for that country because they're right. They should be able to do that. I just wanted your thoughts on it because I'm I'm exactly right. Let them wear what they want to wear within reason. Obviously, you can't have graffiti or whatever on your thing, or bad language, or that type of thing. But
if you've got your country representation, whatever, if you meet the requirements for whatever it is, you got your number on the, whatever it might be.
If you want to wear jeans, let them wear jeans.
I have no idea if as a volleyball player, what is easily to, you probably don't want baggy, but if you want to wear kind of similar to what they wear on the indoor court, then that's what you should wear.
You bet. All right, 1 hour in the books. When we come back, Matt Abdelmassih, Husker assistant basketball coach, will join us. We'll talk about Delano Banton now, an NBAer.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, the 2021 athletic season marks the beginning of mobile tickets for Husker sporting events. Tickets and parking passes for all sports will be available for download in your ticket account on the official Huskers app. It's a safe and easy way to guarantee your entry into some of the most exciting sporting events around. Simply download your ticket from your ticket account or the Huskers app and save to your mobile phone wallet before you leave home. Scan at the gate and enjoy the game. Go Big Red.
Go where the summer leads you during the Season of Discovery sales event at Woodhouse Mazda. With a full lineup of CUVs, we are sure to have one for you. From the 2021 Mazda CX-30 to the family-friendly Mazda CX-9, our sales staff is here to help find the perfect model for you. With a suite of features, you can expect more with Mazda at a price that is good for you. Test drive one today at one of our 2 convenient Woodhouse Mazda locations in Bellevue or Omaha, or shop online today.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska is one of the best schools in America for student Fulbright scholars. 2021 marks the 4th time that the university has been named a top producing institution by the Fulbright program. Of the 30 Huskers who applied this past year, 10 were offered the prestigious Fulbright. An additional 16 Huskers were named semifinalists.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe, and here's tonight's sports ticker. Last night, former Husker Delano Banton was selected in the second round of the NBA draft by the Toronto Raptors. Banton, who played last season for Fred Hoiberg, recorded the school's second ever triple-double. He averaged 9.6 points per game, led the team in both rebounding and assists. He becomes just the seventh Husker to be selected in the first two rounds of the draft. Assistant coach Matt Abdelmassih will join us here in a few minutes. Former Husker baseball star Jake Myers is being called up to the major leagues by the Houston Astros. Myers was an all-conference pick for the Big Red in 2017. He'll join the team tomorrow in San Francisco. He's been at AAA Sugar Land and hitting .343 with 16 home runs on the year. Turning to the Olympics, the U.S. women's soccer team survived against the Netherlands. The U.S. won on penalty kicks 4-2. That advances the United States into the semifinals, where they will play Canada in a couple of days. The U.S. women's basketball squad defeated Japan 86-69. The U.S. now 2-0. Big upset in men's tennis. In Tokyo, as the number one seeded male, Novak Djokovic lost to Germany's Alexander Zverev 1-6, 6-3, 6-1. And in Olympic baseball, the U.S. finally took the field. They beat Israel 8-1. The medal count shows the United States with 41 total medals, one ahead of China. The Chinese, though, have the most golds with 19. Look at Major League Baseball. For the first time since the pandemic, the Toronto Blue Jays are playing in Toronto. They lead the Royals in Game 1, 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. The other scores around baseball, the National leads the Cubs 2-1. Chicago has traded most of their premier players as the trade deadline hit earlier today. It's the Pirates over the Phillies, 5-0 in the second. The Orioles 2, the Tigers 0. They're in the bottom of the fourth. The Reds and Mets knotted at 1 in the third inning. It's the Rays over the Red Sox, 4-0 in the third. The Marlins and Yankees, no score in the third inning. The Braves lead the Brewers 4-0 in the bottom of the second in Atlanta. Later tonight, the Mariners in Texas to take on the Rangers, the Indians in Chicago to battle the Pale Hose. It's the Twins and the Cardinals in St. Louis. The Athletics visiting the Angels, the Dodgers in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. The Astros will duel with the Giants in San Francisco, and the Rockies in San Diego to take on the Padres. Those are tonight's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for our final hour of the night, final hour of the week of Sports Nightly, a Friday night edition. Matt Abdelmassih going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to have our Friday Five and our winners and losers of the week in the sports world. All that coming up later in the hour, and also time for you to join us with a call or a text at 402-413-2400. But let's talk some Husker basketball, and great to have with us here on the program tonight, Husker assistant coach Matt Abdelmassih joining us here on the program. Before we get into Delano and the team, Coach, how are you doing? I know you've been kind of laid up a little bit. What's the latest on your status?
I'm doing good. It's great being on the show. I had last 4 weeks just been at home recovering from some major shoulder surgery that I needed to put attention to. That's been an injury I've had for a while. So fortunately, everything's went well. The real all-stars, my wife, having to keep everything in order. Not that I help that much anyway, but, it's been good. It's been good to be at home recovering and looking forward to getting back at it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I bet you were in withdrawal not being out on the road in July, which is such a big month for recruiting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, with the technology, it allows you to watch the game streaming online, so I was clearly able to watch all our main targets and keep track of their progress. And But yeah, that definitely was tough, not being on the road, and certainly tough not being in the gym and seeing our guys on a daily basis, more importantly.
Yeah, visiting Matt Abdelmassih, Husker assistant coach here on Sports Sunday. Greg Sharpe along with Jessica Coody.
Well, big news for Delano Banton last night, being drafted by his hometown team, the first Canadian to be drafted by the Raptors. How exciting was that for you guys as a coaching staff to see a kid like Delano and his dream come true like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate goal for all the kids that we bring to Nebraska. And to see his dreams fulfilled is so gratifying. That's exactly why we are in this business, is to help these kids and guide them in a direction on that path to fulfilling those dreams. And, I've been really fortunate. I mean, it's the 13th NBA player that I've been a part of, 11 with Coach Hoiberg. I had a couple when I was at St. John's, and just awesome feeling seeing those kids smile. It's just so gratifying to know that you played a role in helping them get there. And, Delano, you have to give him a lot of credit. Doesn't always work out with what he did. He really bet on himself. We supported him with his decision, and that bet certainly paid off. And now it's time to go out there and prove yourself at the next level to continue on with your basketball career.
He was one of the first recruits that you guys brought in here to Nebraska. Just how important was he to kind of laying a little bit of the foundation for what you guys want to continue to do here?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, when we first got to Nebraska and we had, I feel, every hole to fill imaginable, he was a kid that I had a prior existing relationship with, and, certainly garnered a lot of interest from all across the country, but, trusted that this would be the best place for him, to give him that platform to go out there and showcase his unique skill set and clearly versatility. And, we've had so much success with point guards in the past, and felt like he was that next guy up to really show what he's capable of doing. So certainly a great thing when you have a crop of players that start the building process, and one of them making the NBA certainly helps recruiting future players to Nebraska and showing that if you follow the plan, you're certainly going to have a great shot to get there.
Matt, you just mentioned point guard. I think last night on some of the boards they were listing him as a 4. Don't you think he's a 1 in the league, or where would you put him?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably ESPN screw up because they just assume he's 6'8", but he is. I mean, he's exclusively a primary ball handler. That's what Toronto drafted him as. Not to say that he can't play other spots on the floor. That's what his versatility allows him to, play 1 through 4, you could say. But, I mean, his best playing days in the NBA will be, initiator and facilitating at a high level, just because his size allows him to see things that other people can't see.
You mentioned recruiting, and I know you guys have really been having some success, but, I mean, again, having a guy that is selling what you guys have done for him to help him get to this point, I mean, that's got to continue to help the message that you want to get guys that ultimately want to get to the NBA that, hey, look, this is what we're doing, and look at this guy. He just did it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the one huge selling point that we have in our program is you have the only head coach in all of college basketball to wear literally every hat in the NBA. And if you're a kid, I tell them, why not come to Nebraska and get a PhD in what it takes to be a pro? You go, if you want to be a lawyer, you find the best law school. If you want to be a businessman, you want to try and get the best MBA possible. But to me, if you want to be truly an NBA player, there's no better place in the country than to come here and play for Fred Hoiberg, because you're not going to get any better guidance, advice, better than what you'll get here. And everything about his program is NBA oriented, and it's such a distinct advantage when any of our guys have an opportunity to play at the next level. We've seen it with the countless players we've gotten there, because the terminology we use is exactly the terminology they use. The way that we run things, from drills to just style of play, is exactly what our guys are going to experience at the next level. So Delano's going to walk in day one training camp preparing for Summer League, and he's going to have that advantage, and he's going to realize even more on how beneficial it was to come to Nebraska and play for Fred Hoiberg. So certainly all it does is validates everything that we're trying to sell to prospective student athletes. So it's certainly great to see it play out last night the way it did.
Visiting with Matt Abdelmassih, Husker assistant basketball coach here on Sports Nightly. So Delano decides to keep his name in. Is that when you kind of turned your attention to Alonzo Verge? Just take me through that process a little bit, Coach.
No, you know what? I pride myself on never being surprised and not being prepared. So I was talking to Alonzo well before that because at the end of the day, even if Delano returned, there was something about Alonzo Verge that I felt like would elevate our program. Me and Fred had plenty of conversations on the different scenarios, and clearly one of them being what if Delano returned. So at the end of the day, when he decided not to, it was certainly a lot easier because there was a void that we needed to fill. And, I think it's as seamless of a transition adding such a experienced leader and a point guard that we've added so late. I really eerily similar to adding, he's the only grad transfer All-American in college basketball history, DeAndre Kane at Iowa State. We added him really late and eerily similar just to the timeline. And, very, very excited about him. Clearly brings a little bit of a different game than Delano. Of course, Alonzo's about 5 inches shorter. So that in itself, but, ultimately for us, what a significant get, especially at the time that we got him.
I just this week talked to all of the newcomers, the transfers, the freshmen, and pretty much all of them credited made a note of their relationship with you and how close they got with you throughout the recruiting process, in addition to, what you just talked about, the NBA and working with Coach Hoiberg. But how do you go about developing those relationships and getting these guys to trust you in a way that, you were a big part of why they wanted to come here as well?
Yeah, I've always prided myself on just being authentic and being transparent. A lot of times in this business, and I guess you can say life, people aren't going to really tell you what you need to hear. I'm very direct, and because of that, it allows me to build guys' trust very quickly. And trust to me is the most sacred element to the recruiting process, because it doesn't matter where you go to school. If you can't trust the people, you have zero shot to succeed. And because of that, it's allowed me to have a career that I probably never even dreamt of. And it's certainly allowed me to put myself in a position to be really successful in getting talent at any school I've worked at. I'm very fortunate to cross paths with so many great people that are friends that, certainly helped me to get to this point. But that's all it is. Authenticity is certainly who I am, who I am on Mondays, who I'm going to be on Friday, who I'm going to be on Wednesday. I don't switch up, and, I'm not going to pat them on the back when certainly they're out of place or do something wrong. And because of that, that bond is really strong. They know they can rely on the transparency that is only going to make them better both on and off the court.
Matt, what's it been like having Nate Lenzer back on the staff and in the gym with the guys?
Besides the fact that he's elite at his job, which is being a heck of a basketball mind, it's just great to have somebody on staff that you could trust, that's going to work really hard, that's going to do right by Coach Hoiberg and do right by this program and university. He's going to be as integral of a part at continuing to build this place to place levels it's never been before. But, it's just great to have his presence and his knowledge every day in our program. And, certainly for my wife, very excited because my wife and his wife are close from our time in Iowa. And
there you go.
Now we have kids, and life is a lot different. He has 3 kids. We have 2. When we were in Iowa, nobody had any kids. So it's just crazy out the twists and turns of life. But just really happy and fortunate to have Nate in our program.
Play dates. You guys got play dates.
Yeah, exactly. Although he's a Cubs fan, so he's not going to talk to me for a few days.
That's a perfect segue. You are a huge Mets fan. You got to be in heaven right now, right after the trade deadline.
So I watched the trade deadline for 4 straight hours on MLB TV, sitting there stressed like it was Game 7 of the World Series, because it's very similar to 2015. They have a good team, but it's not good enough to win a World Series, and they go out and get Cespedes right before the trade deadline. And, today Baez was as significant of a get as we could have hoped for. And, very excited. I mean, Mets fans are usually used to just getting, hit in the gut and constantly hitting the gut over and over and over. So it's kind of good to finally have an owner and leadership that has the vision that they want to win and win now. And very excited. There's no doubt about it. I know you're a big baseball guy. And,
yeah.
This time of the year to me is always my favorite, because you have meaningful baseball in August and September. College football's right here. NFL's right here. NBA training camp starts up in the fall, so it's just a great time. So hopefully I'll be going to New York for a playoff game in October.
Alex Gordon and the Royals are sorry. They still feel bad about that a few years ago for you, Matt.
Yeah, you know what? A few people, especially Seamus, has asked me, do I ever want to meet Alex Gordon? I said, Seamus, better I'll turn the other way. I won't shake the guy's hand. I'm sorry for all the Husker fans, but my pride of being a Mets fan, he destroyed the middle part of my life, because all I asked for is one World Series, because I wasn't old enough in '86. And so it'd be hard for me to look the guy in the eye, even though he's a hell of a baseball player and a great representative of this university.
I'm going to make that introduction happen someday, Matt. Hey, Matt, we appreciate it. Get yourself healed and get back and going. And Husker Nation's excited about this team. Can't wait to watch them play here in a few months.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me on. Take care.
There he is, Matt Abdelmassih, Husker assistant back. He's one of those wacko fans of the Mets.
I know. I'm always impressed by Mets fans that they stick around and stay so faithful and loyal.
Oh, what a good guy. I hope he's that shoulder. I mean, for him to not go out on recruiting, it must have been pretty severe.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about that a lot since I've been here, is just the job that he does recruiting, and I think we're seeing it. And as I said, when I did all those interviews the other day, all of them mentioned him and the bond and the relationship that they had with him and that they trusted him. I mean, you're talking about guys that are coming from the Bronx and, all over in these big cities coming to Nebraska, had never been here. And a lot of that is that relationship that Matt built with them on the recruiting trail.
First guy that Fred Hoiberg hired when he took the job here was Matt Abdelmassih. We can certainly see why. Matt joined us on our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. All right, when we come back, the Friday Five headed your way next.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up and back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
Did you ever buy something and get more? More than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it. The confidence of flashing a beautiful smile. The relief that your family can keep living the life they love. The serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus. Insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Nebraska Athletics are hiring event staff for the 2021 home football season. Our #1 requirement, be passionate about Husker football and ready to provide the ultimate fan experience for the greatest fans in college football. As part of the event staff, you serve Husker Nation and check out live game action inside Memorial Stadium. Apply right now and help kick off the Husker football season by working the Garth Brooks concert. For more information and to apply, visit huskers.com/event staff. Go Big Red.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night, 402-413-2400. The number if you want to dot us up with a comment or question. Time for our Friday Five. We hit some of the 5 biggest topics of the week. I'm going to go first here tonight. Number 5 for me is the start of the football season. We had big media press conference yesterday, followed by Fan Day last night, and the practice today. Does it feel like football to you yet, or are you still waiting to settle in?
It does. It feels like football, and it feels like football for the first time in 2 years, to be honest, because last year was so weird. And, I wasn't here, but I was at Oklahoma. It was just such an odd feeling, and it never really felt real, the whole time. But, it's exciting, and getting to be out there on the field yesterday, doing that piece. If you missed it, it's posted pretty much everywhere on social media with Lexi's son. Getting to talk to some of the kiddos. It's just, and the lines to get autographs, it does. It feels like it's here. I'm excited, and seems like there's a lot of excitement around this team, and I know a lot of people have been on the text line about wanting to see the results on the field. This team wants the results, and I think they're going into this fall camp with a little bit different mindset.
Well, you're right. It was first Fan Day in 2 years. There wasn't a Fan Day last year because you couldn't do it because of all the COVID restrictions, so it was great to be able to do that. And I know there was some nervousness around it because the risk dial has gone up a little bit. There's more people testing positive right now than there were 6-8 weeks ago. But I'm glad they were able to pull it off, hopefully safely and moving on. And it was a nice, steamy morning today in Lincoln for the first practice session of this team. But I just like the demeanor. Does that mean wins? No, but I think you didn't want a team coming in here and laughing around and joking around. There's a seriousness about this team that they know that it's time to start winning football games. So I'm with you. Glad it's here. Let's get this thing going. 29 days from kickoff.
Let's go. Okay, so my first topic, I'm going to go with the Olympics. First of all, shout out to Suni Lee, who wins the gold, even despite Simone Biles thought she was a favorite, going to win the gold for the American women. But Suni Lee keeps it going every year since, 2000, that the American women have won gold in the all-around. But also, we talked about it earlier, but my favorite sport now, 3-on-3 basketball, the women winning gold with Kelsey Plum. Huge fan of Kelsey Plum, Stephanie Dolson, Jackie Young, and Alicia Gray. And then Keisei Tominaga being able to represent his home country of Japan. And he had a big game against China when he went 6 of 7 and hit the game winner for Team Japan to beat China. So awesome to see 3-on-3 in the Olympics, but also USA women winning gold and Keisei getting to play for his home country.
I read a piece today that said, let this be Suni Lee's moment. Let's not the big shadow of Simone Biles' issues pull away from what she did. She was second going into this thing in the qualifying round. She was second in the all-around behind Simone, and it's not her fault that Simone is dealing with what she's dealing with. So let her rise to the moment. She deserves this. She is a really accomplished gymnast.
She was given the moment and she embraced it. You know, and I mean, again, a lot of things that were surrounding even the team finals, she was not supposed to be on the floor, I don't believe, and she had to do a couple of events, rest her legs, and she had to step in last minute, compete on that event, and then come back and compete for the all-around. I mean, just what an amazing performance for her to respond in that way. Could have, again, played mentally and no fans and all of that, but for her to go out there and take that moment as her own and win gold. Props to her.
Terrific story. Her dad suffered a fall a couple of years ago. He's paralyzed from the waist down. He's been a huge fan of hers. And I know for all the families of all these athletes, it's just got to tear them apart that they can't be there in person to support their son or daughter in their events, because parents are the ones that have been hiking them around to practices and competitions all around, in some cases, the world, and at the biggest pinnacle moment of their career, they can't be there in person to support them. But what a neat story with that family. It looks like a really neat family. Up in Minnesota is where she's from.
Yeah, so cool. And NBC has done a pretty good job of trying to zoom in with some of the families. We've seen some awesome moments there, but glad they got to see it.
My next topic, Delano Banton getting drafted. This is one, and you and I were talking during the week. We didn't really think he would get drafted, but we were hearing rumbles that he was being promised to go. Good for him. That was not an easy decision, I'm sure, for him a month or so ago, whether to come back or go. He trusted himself, and it's going to pay off big time. I'm really happy for him.
There's a big difference between, being drafted in the second round and being, just getting a training camp invite. So that was big for him. And the first Canadian to be drafted by the Raptors, and he gets a shout out from Drake. I mean, just the list goes on and on. What a huge day for him. And it's why he wore 45, because of the bus route and his hometown and wanting to represent the kids in his neighborhood. And what a fantastic story. So glad for him.
And good for Nebraska too, right?
Huge,
I mean, Nebraska benefits from this thing as well.
Absolutely. We just heard how big that's going to be in recruiting. That, hey, we're selling kids on come, get yourself ready to be a pro. And right there, the proof is in the pudding right there.
The style of play here translates to the next level. It's big.
Okay, so how about the big story? It's official. We've been talking about it for a week now, but Oklahoma and Texas headed to the SEC. The SEC voted on it unanimously yesterday, and then today Oklahoma and Texas voting on it as well. So they're headed to the SEC. Now, when that might happen is still kind of up in the air. That right now they're saying 2025, but that could change depending on lawyers and buyouts and whatnot. But it's happening. It's coming.
Take it back. Our first show together was July 1st. Did either one of us have even a thought in our mind that Oklahoma and Texas were, by the end of the month, would have officially joined another league?
No.
And that's how crazy this is.
And then a week before that, we've got Big 12 Media Days that Bob Bowlesby's standing up there talking about the state of the league and, the TV contracts, and that's what we signed up for. And then, less than a week later, there's the reports out that from A&M, I guess A&M leaked it, that here comes Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC.
Crazy stuff. A lot of hurt feelings for the other 8 that are now left behind, and that will be the story going forward. What do those 8 do? And Nebraskans, I think, can emphasize with a lot of them because of their longtime rivalries with Kansas and Kansas State and Iowa State and Oklahoma State. They don't have near the history with Baylor or any of the other 2, but those ones right near us. A lot of Husker fans, developed relationships with people in those towns down through the years. I'll be anxious to watch what happens to that group moving forward.
Yeah, and talks that they're trying to at least maybe stick together to try to get the buyout money or the payout money for the remainder of the TV contract, because it is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. I don't know that many of them are going to have options, Jessica.
Yeah, I don't
think
either.
The best thing for them is to stay together and then decide where to go from there. Can they add some parts to make their league look more attractive to the big TV partners? All right, my number 1 story of the week is ESPN and the influence ESPN is having on college sports. And I don't think for the most part it's for the better. I think they have kind of orchestrated a lot of what's gone on in the last 8 or 9 days, and I don't know that that's for the benefit of all this. I love the traditions and rich histories of this thing, but boy, a lot of those are getting tossed to the side by what's been happening now.
And Bob Bowlesby sending a cease and desist letter to ESPN denying it, but then you got former ESPN president John Skipper going on podcast basically alluding to the fact that, yeah, ESPN definitely had their hand in this. We all know that. ESPN can deny it all they want, but yeah, that's too much for me. The fact that they're, basically paying for the college football playoff. We've heard the narrative pushing the SEC. They own all the rights to the SEC conference with the network. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. The FCC has got to step in somehow and kind of regulate this somehow. The NCAA, there was a article that came out today that they're going to meet in November to try to figure out how they're going to restructure moving forward and what better ways they can run this. But there's got to be something done. Thank goodness that we got some commissioners stepping up and saying, whoa, let's wait on this 12-team playoff, because when we had Ryan Aber on right when this news broke from the Oklahoma, and I asked him about how much does that 12-team playoff play into Oklahoma and Texas making this decision, because they got a better shot, of making the 12-team playoff in the SEC than they do the 4-team playoff in the SEC. Because right now, Oklahoma's been a shoo-in, but, if they go to the SEC, Alabama's had a stronghold on that. So the 12-team playoff definitely played into Oklahoma making that decision and Texas making that decision. So the fact that people are stepping in, let's hold up on this a little bit.
I think that's the key. We've had 2 big players who've kind of stepped in. The Pac-12 commissioner is kind of saying, maybe. And Gene Smith, the athletic director at Ohio State today, making comments, hang on, let's reevaluate this 12 thing, because do we have 4 Power 5 conferences? Do we have 5? What does that mean? That's people in other leagues going, wait a minute, the SEC's playing a game here. We don't want to just get behind the 8 ball with this whole thing. That's encouraging to me that we're hearing some other conferences and some people with some weight behind them saying, wait a minute, hang on here.
Yeah, and again, the college football playoff, ESPN has the rights to that. So going back to your point about do they have too much power? Absolutely. So then you're talking about 12 teams and how does this playoff shake out? There's got to be somebody else that gets the chance to get involved TV money wise to try to even this thing out, because ESPN has their hands in too many cookie jars right now.
I totally agree. All right, there's our Friday 5. If you have some thoughts about that, 402-413-2400. Call or shoot us a text. We're back with more Sports Nightly next.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop Woodhouse Chevy Buick in Missouri Valley, Iowa, and experience the Woodhouse difference, where our sales staff is here, ready to help you find your perfect new car, truck, or SUV. And with over 100 new vehicles on our lot with more arriving daily, we're sure to have something for you. From the Buick Encore to our heavy-duty trucks, we have the best selection available. Find new roads and shop all of our inventory and offers at WoodhouseChevy.com or visit us at our dealership for a test drive today, making car buying easier. This is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to adventures in technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is dangling from a mountain of open IT tickets, ready to plunge into the abyss of overtime. But wait! It's Marco's Managed IT to the rescue with a lifeline of 24/7 network and user support. Our IT hero is saved! A quick selfie with Marco's Managed IT team, and our hero is back to work. For more successful Managed IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night. Sports Nightly heading into a weekend 29 days ahead of the kickoff for the season. We're 28 days from the volleyball first serve. Husker volleyball will start on Friday the 27th of August. They'll have two matches that day, a match at noon and then one at 7:30, and then Husker football at noon on Saturday against the Fighting Illini, a conference game to open it up. On our text line, Jim in Grand Island says, what are you hearing about Nash Hutmacher? I thought he was supposed to be really good. What's the latest? He is good. He's in a position with a lot of depth. In fact, Jim, we're going to dive into the defensive line on Tuesday's show, hearing from Tony Tuioti and also Ty Robinson. Jessica caught up with him. They're really happy with Nash, but that's a really deep position. He's behind a lot of guys who've played an awful lot of football in the league. So
that's a good place to be deep at.
Absolutely. Don't give up on the polar bear. He's going to be good, but he's just got to maybe wait his turn a little bit. But I think he'll get on the field some.
You need to have, and Tony Tuioti talked about that, the rotation, being able to run guys in and out and not dropping off. So the line change in hockey is what he had referred to it as. So that's going to be good for them to have that kind of depth.
Absolutely. All right, what you got in the chat room? Anything going on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, our YouTube live stream, a lot of football chat about potential records. We got a 10-2 thrown out there. But one of the comments that was made about Illinois and the importance of game one and how big that game is right out of the gate. And we talked a lot about it with Jeremiah last night about how that's good for fall camp. It's a sense of urgency. Hey, we do not have an easy game one. It kind of gives you a little extra motivation throughout fall camp.
It's a giant game, and it's going to set the tone for the season. And I've been nervous about this game for a month. People have asked me all summer, what's the biggest game of the year? I'm like, it's week one. Oh, you'll always say that. No, you don't always say that. You do in this case. This team needs to get this season off to a good start. Illinois they beat the Huskers a year ago here in Lincoln. The game 2 years ago in Champaign was a battle down to the end. It's going to be a heck of a fight. So, absolutely, it's a big game.
And a lot of both these teams be pretty familiar with each other because they got a lot of guys returning. The difference is that we don't really know what Illinois is going to do. So we heard talking about pulling things from the Patriots, from Arkansas, from the different Wisconsin, trying to figure out what they're even going to do schematically, first, and then you got to look at personnel. But yeah, it's going to be tough to figure out how to even game plan for Illinois as well on top of that.
This is the trend. The Big Ten is moving to pushing some conference games up early in the season into week one. In week one, and the Huskers play Illinois week 0, but week 1 for everybody else will be Labor Day weekend. You have some tremendous matchups in the league. Ohio State goes to Minnesota. Indiana goes to Iowa. That'll be a battle of ranked teams. Penn State goes to Camp Randall to play Wisconsin. That will be probably a battle of ranked teams. Not sure if Wisconsin gets in the preseason top 25, but they'll be close. It's putting importance early in the year. I don't think coaches love it, Jessica. As a fan, I do. I think it's great that you have some big matchups right out of the gate.
I think in a huge opportunity to get a conference win under your belt on the road right out of the gate. And you never know. I take it as like with Illinois and not really knowing, but the new coaching staff, they might figure things out towards the end of the year. You get them at the beginning where they're still trying to work some kinks out.
I would lean that way. I really would. I would lean that, boy, they're still trying to get used to each other on the sideline and how the coach interacts with them during a game, because it's different.
Yeah.
How you interact with a player in practice is one way, and then when the fans are there and the band is playing and all that, it's different how you get reacted.
And these players were not part of their system. They're coming in. Even though they're returning, Brett Bielema and this coaching staff, it's not like they recruited them to their system. So they're going to be trying to figure things out. And yes, they had spring ball, but that's kind of quick for them to put out a product with a big opponent. So I think you get them early, got a huge opportunity to get some momentum and a big conference win on the road moving forward into the season.
On our text line, somebody wants a restaurant recommendation in Norman. They're headed down there for the game in September. What do you got?
Well, the Mont is always a big hit. It's one of the Norman staples. They have a patio, and they're known for their swirls and their queso. I'm trying to think. Let me think about that. If you'll tune in closer to the game week, I will have a list ready for people to go to. Depends on if you're staying in Norman. The Mont, a lot of people will recommend, and there's a couple places on Campus Corner that's good spots to go to as well.
There you go. All right. We'll step aside and get a break in. Still time if you want to be a part of the program at 402-413-2400. Some more of your calls and texts coming up, and our winners and losers of the week straight ahead.
Shop Woodhouse Ford first. With 3 convenient locations, we offer a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Our no-pressure sales team is eager to help you find the perfect vehicle. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in person or online at woodhouseford.com. Choose your experience and start your car buying journey today at Woodhouse Ford in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. There is no better way to support your Huskers than becoming a season ticket holder. And a limited number of Nebraska football season tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat in Memorial Stadium for head coach Scott Frost's fourth season at the helm as the Huskers play host to Buffalo, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and more. Now is your chance to become part of the storied tradition that is Husker football. To purchase season tickets, call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
We're back, final few minutes of our Friday night show here on Sports Honey on the Huskers Radio Network, getting into another weekend without Husker sports. Only a handful of them ahead, so not too many people, not too many of these open weekends. I think I follow the ESPN Game Day account. They always put out like they'll do it tomorrow morning. They're like, 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks before.
Should we all
gets
start
going.
like unfollowing all of the ESPN accounts?
I hate to do that, and I said this last night. I mean, I love ESPN Game Day. I love flipping that on when I'm getting dressed on Saturday morning and seeing the pageantry. They do a really good job. So does Fox. Fox does a good job with their pregame show as well. But we've all grown up with it. It's been a big part of it. And then yet you watch what their corporate arm is doing out there trying to destroy things.
But look at Arlo's tweet from Butler County. It's not ESPN, it's SECPN. It's been that for over 5 years now.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. Let's go to the phones. John and Lincoln's up next on Sports Honey. Good evening, John.
Hi. I am in my late 70s, and I've been a Nebraska basketball fan from the time I was 8 years old, selling popcorn and ice cream bars at the old Coliseum.
Awesome.
And I guess what frustrates me is when you get my age, you have certain expendable money. And I'm sitting here, and I look at last season. Our coach pushed his grandfather out for the third worst season and then set a record for the first time in Nebraska basketball history, losing 20 games. So I hear all this hip, hip, hurrah, and I've heard that going back to, all the, other coaches, what's going to be different after such a dismal season last year. I hear about recruiting and all this and that, but still we had the third worst season and the first time losing 20 games. So what can you encourage me to go ahead and buy 4 season tickets this year?
Well, John, I think, I think they're a more talented team. I think everybody realizes that. How quickly that comes together, that is yet to be seen. But, I mean, you're going to have to make that decision whether you want to buy the tickets or not. But I think you might be sorry if you don't. I think this team's got a chance to be pretty exciting. I think he's upgraded the talent. And I think you saw it toward the end of last year. That thing was starting to hum a little bit. They won 3 games, and 3 of the last 6 games they took Illinois, who was a top 10 team, into overtime. If you had a crowd at Pinnacle Bank Arena that night, they probably would have pulled that upset off. But I understand the hesitancy. It's time to win. We say that about football. We can say that about men's basketball as well. But I can't make that decision for you, whether you want to buy the ticket or not. You're going to have to do that on your own.
I also think last year was tough, too, because weren't they hit pretty hard by COVID?
They did. They had a 28-day layout.
Yeah, and just like last year is just so hard and so tough to really gauge what that team and what this program could potentially do because of that. And I think they have, like you mentioned, they got some talent in here. They've had some competitive practices. And I think they know that, too. It's time to, win, and that's what you heard a lot yesterday and the last couple of days that I've been out there. But you do have to have the bodies and the talent and the right people. But the system is there, the coach, the staff, it's there. And you just got to give them a chance, and I think it's coming. I really do.
All right, time to jump into our winners and losers for the week. Why don't you go first?
Oh, man. Well, let me think here. Okay, my winner is, how about Caleb Dressel and the
USA
family winning gold and just the emotion, and then the family capturing that live and their reaction. And, he said how tough the year was, and for it to all pay off and to set the record and win a gold. And everyone said he was going to be a star of the games, and he absolutely has. And I think his family became the stars as well.
That was cool. That was really neat. And so was the reaction for the Jacoby girl from Seward, Alaska, when she won the gold. And they were all, like, that whole town was like in a tiny gymnasium, and they were all jumping up and down. Some of those reaction shots, kudos to NBC for that. That's been well done.
Well, and the NBC is also my loser as well, because the streaming and the live and not putting the Simone Biles stuff on when all that breaking news is the biggest news story of that day, and it's not on where a lot of people can watch it, and then they're going to re-air it like we don't know what's happening that night. Right. That we got to figure out how to do that. And it was on during the Today Show.
Correct.
Put that on so people can see it.
You got Hoda sitting there going, I see her over my shoulder. And I'm like, well, good for you. Can we see her?
Yeah.
Because I had the Today Show on thinking that they were going to go into that and show a little bit. I think they needed to react to that. And they've taken their licks, and I'm glad you brought it up. I think that's very fair that they needed to do that. They won't have as big a time lapse in Paris in 3 years, because they're like 5 hours ahead of us, but they'll be able to. What will they? Will they show it in the afternoon, or will they hold it for prime time? They'll probably hold it again.
No, I think they'll learn their lesson and figure out a way to
show it twice.
Yeah.
Who cares if you show it twice?
Yeah. Well, and like how they did with the swimming this year, how they tweaked it a little bit, where they've had, some of the finals races in the mornings, and they've had preliminaries at night, so that you can show it live in prime time. Figure out, you got 3 years to figure out how to better put this thing out there, and not, because social media, you used to get away with that. We didn't know what happened. Now we know what happens. That's why I don't like to DVR. I don't like to. I'm getting up in the morning to watch it, because if I go on Twitter, I know what's happening. So
Dan Hicks, Rowdy Gaines, fantastic.
Oh, they're so great.
Rowdy's his reactions are priceless. They even had a GoPro camera on him the other day, and you could see him jumping up and down. And Michael Phelps has done a nice job in his little analysis. He's
been great. And Jeremiah talked about it yesterday. I'm a big Michael Phelps fan as well. So having him on the games, his first Olympics that he's not swimming, to have him on as a commentator has been excellent.
Okay, my winner, Delano Banton. Took a chance, rolled his name out there. It's paid off big time, being selected last night by the Toronto Raptors. Good for him. I know he probably wrestled with that decision, whether he needed one more year of college basketball. A lot of people, maybe even myself included, doubted that he would get drafted, and there he was. So good for him. Want nothing but the best for him. We'll be following him in that summer league out in Vegas here in a couple of weeks, see how he does. But that is terrific. So my winner is Delano Banton. Good stuff.
Yeah, such a great story, and we've talked a lot about it today. But, gosh, I can only imagine the emotion of the team that you grew up, literally that hometown, drafting you, making your dream come true, and then a guy like Drake, another Canadian welcoming you home. I mean, what an awesome day for him.
Very cool. My loser for the week are our Cubs fans. They have got to be so deflated. Bryant's gone, Rizzo's gone, Baez is gone, Kimbrel is gone, all traded within the last 24 hours. The guts of that team that took that team, that city, that franchise to a world championship just a few years ago is now completely gone. The trades, it will probably take 2 to 3 years to see if they got enough back to benefit everybody for losing that group, but they have got to be hurting because they love their Cubs up in Wrigley and the north side of Chicago. They just have to be devastated tonight.
The Cubs' loss is Matt Abdelmassih and Mets gains.
Yeah, the Mets
fans gains.
The Mets got a bunch of that. Rizzo goes to the Yankees, but Baez going to the Mets was a big pickup for them. So a lot of action at the trade deadline. Max Scherzer gets moved to the Dodgers, who really strengthened themselves. Dodgers a huge favorite to repeat as World Series champions. All right, that'll put a wrap on it. Thanks to Jessica and to Mike for being a part of this one, and all of you folks for listening, tweeting, texting, calling during the week. Appreciate that. Enjoy your weekend. Only 3 more weekends without college football. Hallelujah. Woo-hoo! Can't wait for that to happen. We're back with another show on Monday.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, You made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site.